In my last video, I showed you proof why the PKM tool era is over and why the new era will allow each of us to build our very specific personal knowledge management system that we call now Personal Knowledge Assistance, PKA. And this is what we've built in the last video. It is just a folder using Claude. And we ended up in this video having everything inside this folder, including an interface that runs locally. It's not an application. This builds on top of the video, where we step by step build this folder structure and then this visual representation of our information. And that's how Paco and Paco is a multi-business owner. He's running it exactly the same way as I showed you there. And in order to do this, we used the terminal, which I also demystified in the past video, that this is the same as if you would use the Claude desktop version. You can build all this also just using Claude desktop. However, in this video, I want to show you how I'm actually using Claude on a daily basis with my personal knowledge assistant system based just on a simple folder. So we have this folder and we worked in one terminal on this folder. Thanks for all of you in the comments. You can actually just say CD and drag in the folder, and this gives you the link to the folder. And now if I hit enter, I'm directly in this folder, and now I can launch Claude. And now we work with Claude inside this folder. I can say, who are you? And he says, I'm Larry, your personal AI assistant orchestrator. My job is simple, and so on. And this is all based on this Claude MD file that everything got created in the previous video automatically. It's no magic at all anymore. No code involved, nothing. However, I want to show you a step further, because if you want to get more control over the things, this is where I'm using VS Code. Again, it's the word code in there and people get scared, but bear with me, watch the video until the end, and then tell me in the comments below if it is that complicated than you thought, and if you will start using it too. There's this hype using Obsidian with Claude, and it is mind-blowing. And I don't agree with this hype, because Obsidian is forcing you again into a structure that is based on Obsidian. All the tools, all the files, everything that is created by Obsidian and managed through Claude is very specific to Obsidian. It's not portable to other tools. What we've built here in the previous video is 100% portable, because it is just your local folders, your local files, all based on MD files that are actually just text files. We build a database that interconnects the things with each other, but I can replace Claude at any time with Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever I want to work on the same folder. So there is no more stuck inside a tool, and I can go beyond, as I already showed. I can go then further and build my own interface around it. And as you have seen, it was just in minutes that we built this, and it is no code involved, nothing. It's very simple. So if you really want to have what I'm using on a daily basis, download Visual Studio Code. It is for free. I know people are free. This is for free. For all the people who use Obsidian because they want to have local first and free, well, the time is over, because Visual Studio Code is for free, and I have local first, and I have portability, as all the files that I have in here are actually accessible and not specifically formatted to be used with Obsidian only. Okay, so I open up VS Code, and this is what this looks like. Don't get confused, because in the end you will see it looks very similar to Obsidian too. And if you heard about vibe coding, people using things like Cursor, Windsurf, or things like that, all these tools under the hood have VS Code, Visual Studio Code. It's developed by Microsoft. It is for free. It's not something random that you use. It's a standard tool that developers use, and I show you in this video why I'm using this for my private life and for my business to work with. So once you open up VS Code, you will even see a lot less here on the side. So you probably only see the first 3 boxes and this one maybe. So let's open up the first thing here, Explorer. And I can open a folder, and it is the same as if you would open a folder on Claude Cowork. I open the folder, I can go to my desktop. Here's my PKA demo, the thing that I just showed you, open. And now I opened this folder. I can close this tab here again. See, it even launches Claude Code on the side automatically. And even with a nice interface, but that's something I'm not using. Okay, you can perfectly use this, and this is actually the extension. But before we talk about this, let's have a look here on the side. We open this folder, and this is the Explorer, and you see we are in this folder now, and here are just the folders, and here are the different files that are inside the folder. Let's open up the folder next to it. Here we go. See, agents. I opened up the owner's inbox. There's organized. Everything is exactly the same. We are inside the folder. And now we can click on these MD files and show them. We can look at all these files, and you see there's something opening up in parallel. This is actually a preview that now nicely formats this MD file to look nicer. Okay, but again, this is an extension. So if you use to Obsidian, you can exactly do the same here in VS Code to optimize it to your liking. But it's a much more commonly used tool and platform to use it. And again, it's not changing anything in your folder just because you're using VS Code. You could now switch to any other tool too. So we stay portable for everything that we create. So Tom, why do you think that I need this? Well, I like the fact that I see my folder real time. I showed you in the previous video when we built this, we had the folder and the terminal next to each other, and we saw how perfectly this was starting to build. And here we were able to chat. That's the thing that I have in here. If you go to terminal, new terminal, it opens up this here. We can ignore the chat. Now we have the terminal. So you see this down here is the same as we had here. So now I can simply launch Claude in here too. Boom, now I have Claude. Here I can click and I can just open another terminal. And I say again Claude. And now I already have 2 Claudes running. And what I usually do, I just drag and drop these Claudes up here. And I can set them next to each other, and I close this terminal. And there's a shortcut. So you see here, if I use Control and this icon here, I can then have a shortcut to open up this if you need. But I live only in here. So what I usually have, working on a daily basis, using it for my business with the AI team working inside our business, I have 6 of these terminals open, working all on different things inside this folder structure, but they are also connected to tools outside, like ClickUp, to the my ICOR application, many things that I have. But let's stay focused on the basics that we taught in the previous video. So now we have these 2 terminals open, and they are both working in this folder. So you see I have perfect context now working on this. I can again use the voice command, who the heck are you? And then we will see that this is now loading in. He will now check the Claude MD file. He realizes he is Larry. And then we have an AI team working for us with Nolan, Pax, and Sable. And this is what it is. And now we can keep extending whatever we had. The thing is, this really works as a folder. So you can actually go here and use this docx, for example. I can drag and drop it into this file. So I move it into the team inbox, which we in the previous video defined that this is the inbox for AI whenever there's something in. So please check the inbox and tell me what you find there. So you see, he goes now into the team inbox and sees now the trend report that I put into this. And here you go. It found the team inbox stuff. This is this. And as I just said inbox, it also looked into my owner's inbox, where they actually share things that they created for me. Okay, so now we can do something simple. This is a Word document. So I can actually say, okay, convert the Word document in team inbox into a PDF file. See, it picked it up wrong, but that's the beauty about AI. You no longer need to be very specific. It still get the point what I was going for, and it will do it. At the same time, I could now, while he's working here, I can now start working on something different. Do we already have a quotes table available in the database? See, it already converted the Word document into a PDF file. I can click on it, I can open this up, and I can see, wow, it converted perfectly into an OCR PDF file. And I can actually always right click and reveal in Finder or use this shortcut, and it will open up the folder this is in. See, team inbox, right click, PKA demo, team inbox. It is just files, and it converted the Word document into a PDF file on the go with full control over this. Now I can say, all right, delete the Word document and archive the PDF into the database and index it so we will find it later on. And again, while this is working, we can check the next one here. I see 8 tables, PK, blah, 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 but no quotes table, okay? So now here I hit Shift Tab and switch to plan mode. And now I can say, create a quotes table, but this should be connected with my context table. So we have also the authors connected in there. And tell me how you would implement this. Whenever I'm unsure what it will do, as I mentioned in the previous video, you should go to plan mode and then you're not destroying anything that is in here and you can perfectly review what's going on. See, while this is working, I can keep working here and it is all perfectly organized as I can just close this and I will have it always available this way. But what we are doing, we are working still in this folder and yet we have a dedicated tool that is using this folder. See, and now he moved everything out of the team inbox. It's gone. Here the plan is finished. What does context mean for you in quotes? Is it the source where the quote comes from? The book? See, even things that I didn't even think about, but it makes total sense. So, but I even third, source, topic, and author, which is actually the source too, if we want, but let's see if he sees it. Well, here is the authors linked to context. Or should it be a separate author table? See, that's why I love the planning mode, because it sparks the thoughts and people say there's no deep thinking in this setup that I have here. I can tell you, I never thought so deep than using AI this way. Can a single quote have multiple authors or multiple context? Well, let's go for this and let's see what happens. And here we go. Deleted the work document, archived PDF. It tells me now here where it saved it to. I can click on it and it opens up there. See, I can directly click on here and it opens up the file this way. I don't need to search it, but it also opens up here on the side. It moved it to 2026 in the organized owner's inbox. That's our organization that we could also optimize. So I can now say it makes no sense that we have the organized folder inside the owner's inbox, as there should be only the working documents. So make a new folder where we have the actual file references stored that we leverage in the database. And again, I showed you in the past video that there's no magic behind databases or anything. And again, not a single line of code what we are doing here. And then I can also say, hey, update the front end, the interface, to show this to me. And here is now the plan. You see what it is doing. Quotes plus context tables. It tells me exactly how it will create this table, what fields it will use, the indexes it creates, even the connection between context, the quote authors, the quote context. See, this is all visually even represented. I say yes, and let's go. And now you can argue, well, this is code and so on. Well, if you use Claude Cowork and Claude Code in desktop, this shows there too. You just don't see it immediately. You click a button in order to open this up and then you see all this code happening too. But it would do the same for you and there's no magic. So now you see this one starts updating now the folder structure to make the organized folder go away into a proper folder where we have here now archive. See, it already created the subfolders. Now he moves everything over. And the other one is updating the table. Now pre-fill the quote table with 20 quotes about productivity in the age of AI. And let's keep going here. See, this one updated now the owner inbox. Everything is moved here and here's now PDF in archive. But the beautiful thing is that this is not just folders. It is actually connecting it to the database that we created here. It's this simple thing that we have now easy access, and yet all the individual files are accessible this way too. And if we struggle to find something, we always can ask AI too. And now, obviously, if I work with my own setup, I'm using Git repo to upload and have versioning of my folders. That's something you can use, and it's so easy to handle now in VS Code. But that's not something I dive into in this video. If you're interested into how to do this, let me know in the comments below and I will share with you. That is essentially a free backup system that you can create this way. But my goal was really to show you that you can have a free tool that even organizes your Claude folder interaction in a much better way. And now when we go to the extensions here, you see I just downloaded Claude Code. That's the Claude Code extension. However, what I'm using here is just a terminal. So this extension is not even necessary for this. What this extension does is that you have this icon here on top, and if you click it, you can open up Claude in a much more visual interface. So we can even make it this way, so you have the different tabs that you can switch through, okay? And now I can say here, who are you? So this looks nicer, right? So you can have it this way. So it is much more like the desktop version feeling, and yet you have a proper Claude Code experience in here that you can use. And you see it's perfectly working the same way. I'm Larry, this is what's going on. And here we have the same, just in the terminal version. That's the only difference with the extension. And then another extension that I have is this one, Markdown Preview. That just is whenever I open up a Markdown file, like we had this one, it shows me now this in a nice preview. I can move this into a new window, and then I have it even like this. And then I can read calmly through this in a formatted way that is easier to read a Markdown file than just in pure Markdown raw version here. And that's about it. But obviously, if you forget all the other things, it has nothing to do that should be relevant for you guys. But this is the extension marketplace. It's essentially like if you used Obsidian and you're used to plugins, this is exactly it. Now you can say theme and search the marketplace for different themes. I can have here a theme builder. I can have many things that whenever I want to customize again my specific needs as an expert using this with my folder, this is the way to go. It makes you independent. You're not depending on any developers or anything like that. You have full control over your data. It is for free, and it makes things just much more organized. So now we see that he sends out Pack. That's the AI agent that we created in the previous video, who is the researcher. He goes on the web, he finds now 20 AI productivity quotes, and he starts pre-filling the table. We will see this in a moment. So while he is searching for the quotes and creating the tables, I can now tell this Larry here, update the interface so we see on the front page always a random quote whenever we open the page. The quote can be picked up from the new quotes table that we just created. See, this is working in parallel. I know it's on a different place. It now updates this viewer HTML. See, again, in the last video I showed you, it is just a simple web page that we've built here. It's not an application or anything like that. It is just showing what we have in a database. And now he will go in there and update this. At the same time here, he keeps filling in the quotes. See, he found the quotes table. It exists, but it's empty because he's still researching and haven't filled it in yet. And yet she knows what to do. So Pack's finished and added now 20 quotes, but also say we'll seeded some quotes in here. So I could now just say, hey, remove the quotes. I don't want to have this. Doesn't matter. The beautiful thing is here, it gives me directly the link to open up the viewer. I just need to hold down. And if I now open up the interface and I reload, you see here, boom, on top, we have now the very first quote. And if we now, but the quotes are not shown in a database view yet. So again, we just go back and say, but I don't see a table that shows me all the quotes that I can choose from, and also the interconnection between the different data tables are not so clear yet. Please update too. So the thing is not vibe coding a tool for somebody else to use or to sell. It's about creating something that you personally need that perfectly fits your specific use case. This is the superpower that I think many people don't realize yet, that this is what we really need. The experts get empowered and get friction removed. And we used all the tools in the past when it comes to note-taking apps and personal knowledge management tools, and we maxed out how we use them. And yet it was always the friction, maintenance. Whenever they updated something, things change and so on. Now you're in full control over your own knowledge and how it is represented. And when people say, I cannot do deep thinking with this, well, think twice, because then you probably never really worked with this, with AI in the way that we showed here, because you get so deep insights. Paco and I, neither of us, experienced since we started over a decade ago using the knowledge management tools. See, whenever I reload the page, it shows me a random new quote. And while he's building out something, I can say the trip from Bremen to Berlin starting in 1 hour, find cheapest option. here. So see, this is how things work in parallel. So he will do the research and will move this then into my owner's inbox with the insights. See, our research AI assistant that we created in the previous video is going out. I didn't specify, so that gives him the option to find either train or here driving together with somebody else or a bus trip. So it looks at all the different things. Now I could even say, once you finish, please open all your options inside Chrome. See, this is cute now. He's working currently. Once he finishes, he will look at this. And you see, I need to acknowledge a lot of things to move forward here. That's where I usually start Claude in this way. So when you say Claude and you give it this tag here, dangerously skip permissions. Here, it will just work, okay? And it will stop interrupting you and asking for permission. It will just keep working. Once you are sure about what is going on inside your folder and so on, this might be fine for you. And this is then really hands-off working here. And then you imagine if you combine this with remote, you can now keep working on the phone. So I open up my phone. Again, no special tool needed. Just download the Claude application. And you see I just written test. And it shows directly up here, test. And it starts working. Hey, Thomas looks like, and it shows immediately. It's instant. The same thing here on my phone, then I see here. So I can go away and I can keep working in here. Isn't this insane? And another command that you only have here is loop. So now I could say every 10 minutes, check for new quotes on X. I don't know. It was something random, but now it sets up a loop. So this means it will every 10 minutes do something that you wanted to. It could check your emails every 10 minutes or whatever. You can have 1 hour or whatever and organize this based on priority. Give you a notification through Slack. You can now go wild because you're not bound to your folder. You can connect all this to your external tools. And that's something I can show you in another video if you want to see more about this. See, in this case, it starts to open Chrome. So we can open up Chrome and we see here it's going to X now. And I'm doing not anything. It says here Claude started debugging this browser and it works now in the browser. This is thanks to the browser extension. I made a video about this, how you can install this and to use it properly. This is the way you should use it, right? I'm never opening up this extension in here. I just have it installed. So now my Claude in here can actually access the browser this way. So it asks me now about a question, what it should do for. I'm not diving deeper into this. I showed you in another video how all this works. Getting back here, still searching for the best travels. Here it finished the work on the viewer. We can open this up, reload, and here's the new quotes table. And here are all the quotes that we have created. It shows me here the connection, author or source. It combined it. And this is where you can have a back and forth and refine these things. But I can also search now for productivity. It instantly filters all the things. There is even a start icon that I can use. I could make this interactive. Right now it's read only. Your imagination is the limit now. And if you keep things as simple as this, it perfectly works. So you see here, whenever I reload, it's updating the quotes. All this is working already out of the box, and we haven't done any magic except using, which is in my opinion magic, using Claude inside a folder that we had created as an empty folder on the desktop. This is it. This is all there is. Okay, sometimes if it takes so long and you just do simple research like this, you can actually speed things up by switching the model. And also, obviously, if you want to save costs, by simply going /model. And here you can now select a different model. I can go to haiku, which is the fastest. Whenever you want to restart, you can /clear. And it clears the whole conversation. And now you start from scratch. There's no context left. And here, in the meantime, packs finished. And here we have already the different options, the ranking of it. Bottom line, blah, blah car is the cheapest, 16 euros. I could drive now for 16 euros from Bremen to Berlin. Isn't this amazing? And he's now opening up all the different things because I asked for it. Once you finish, please open up all the options inside Chrome. It goes to Chrome. It opened up all the things. Let's see if this is true. Boom. See, there it is. This is all the things. I could now say, now go to the page, find me all the things, book the ticket even. I could now let it pay even. All the things are possible that you might heard from OpenClaw. I don't need this. And now you see my final setup here is VS Code together with Claude working in a folder. This is the future. It's as easy as that. Let me know in the comments below. Do you use this already? Have you been aware of it? Will you use it moving forward? And if you haven't watched already the previous video where I built a folder from scratch, step by step, explaining each individual step carefully, make sure to check this out too. Otherwise, subscribe to the channel and I catch you up in the next one.